What's happening, people? Johnny Styles here with the Wellness Observer Live. One more time, it is June 21st, 2022. And yesterday we had a small recap of the Junior Nationals. And today we're going to have the recap of the 2022 Puerto Rico Pro. Should I say that in my Puerto Rican Spanish? Puerto Rico with R's. Rr. You gotta roll your R's. Rr. Puerto Rico. There you go. My home, Puerto Rico, was one more time back because last year the Puerto Rico Pro was in Bahamas and Tim Gardner had to move the show. But now it's back on the island right next to the beach. And I cannot say I'm not happy. I'm really happy with these 11 girls that showed up. Everybody looked great, with the exception of one or two that, were not in shape. But of all the other shows, this was a much bigger show. And it's very interesting to see different call-outs instead of like a call-out with 4 girls or 5 girls. In this show, we had at least 3 Puerto Ricans competing, which is really cool to see girls from the island competing. We had competitors from Spain, competitors from Brazil, obviously. And we're going to talk all about that. The show itself was a great show. The men's open was great. The men's 212 was great as well. So congratulations one more time to promoter Tim Gardner for bringing the NPC and IFBB Pro League to Puerto Rico. 9 pro cards were given away to the overall winners of the NPC Puerto Rico show. And it was one to remember. I'm going to start off with a Puerto Rican herself. You have seen her a couple times in the Wellness Observer Live. Her name is Normari Fonseca. She competed in the Toronto Super Show, and she came in here one more time. A little bit, more of the same. You can't expect your whole body to change in 20 days, 25 days. So what I'm trying to say is she brought in the same package that she brings, but she did get better in her posing. Remember, she was the girl that didn't smile on stage. She did smile this time around, so that was pretty cool. And she, at least the fans, we're very passionate fans in Puerto Rico. Okay, let me get that out of the way. I hear a lot of American people that are not used to a show in Puerto Rico, or at least fans the way we are in the island or the way Latin America is. When you decide to do a show, or when you decide to go to Puerto Rico or Brazil or maybe Mexico for that matter, we are very passionate fans. What I mean by that is we take the shows to heart. What I mean by that is we're very vocal. What I mean by that is that it's very much like a wrestling crowd. You hear everybody screaming, shouting, coaches, fans, family members. We even have air horns, believe it or not. So the shows are really, really loud. You can't imagine when the Puerto Ricans come out on stage, like Normari, Alejandra, or even Josimar. The crowd explodes. And I've heard some of the American coaches going nuts because they don't understand how you're not used to that in America. Sometimes the girls come up and you hear clapping and whatever. You're not hearing people screaming and shouting. Okay? So Normari came out and I hear a lot. It might be one of her coaches. I heard them saying, stay with your abs in, because one of my critiques was that her stomach was a little bit distended in the posing. But, she's freaking conditioned, this girl has great conditioning. These glutes right here are hard as a rock, okay? She does need to work on the calves, and she does need to work on overall size. Her size from her hamstrings, a little bit of more abductors, and, from the side, she's shredded. But she needs overall size. Her posing can still be a little bit better, especially this upper right delt. You see how it's a little bit higher than her left? That can totally damage a physique because it's not leveled. So it was cool to see her on stage. I know she wanted to do this show, so I'm happy for her. And she just needs, again, like I said in my previous show, she needs to take some time off and develop more mass. We have Josimar Rosado, another girl from Puerto Rico. She won her pro card in the NPC Nationals. And remember, when I saw her in Puerto Rico, she won the NPC Puerto Rico, and I got a lot of heat from the people in Puerto Rico because I said that her size wasn't enough to do battle with the girls. But she won Puerto Rico and she flew into Orlando and she won the nationals. At least her class, one of her, I think she placed second, I believe, or first. I don't remember. The important thing is that she won her pro card, and while I was happy for her, I still knew she needed to take a break and she needed to gain size. Now, when you see her on stage, this is the first time I'm seeing her on stage since the nationals. I wasn't very impressed. I gave her 2 stars, and it hurts me. It hurts me to give her 2 stars, but her glutes weren't up to par to what I was expecting. She does have quads. It's just she wasn't conditioned at all. And she seemed a little bit nervous on stage. She wasn't smiling as much. Her calves could be a little better, and it was all overall a conditioning factor here. She was not in shape, and I was expecting a lot from her because she's one of those girls just like typical Puerto Ricans that they don't even show anything. The whole year they're covered up, and every now and then you'll see a shot in the beach or something, but you never really see progress shots. I would like to see her grow. This is one of these girls that needs to grow in order to get better. I'm not saying she got to get huge. Her legs are good. It's just her glutes needs to be a little bit higher. They need to be bigger, basically. Then we have Andrea Renko for Orlando, for a very, very pretty girl. I really like her overall presentation. She looks very striking at first. And, her overall package, I liked. Okay, her glutes can be bigger, especially from the back. She's another girl that needed more conditioning. She's very pretty. She just needs conditioning and she needs size on the glutes, especially on this upper glute here. Okay. Overall, if she dialed this, if she had this body right here, look at these calves. These calves are crazy. If she had dialed this body to a good conditioning on her, she would have made some damage, believe it or not. I mean, she wasn't going to win the show, but at least she would have placed very good because her whole package was just outstanding. So I gave her 3 stars because personally I did like what she brought. And what she conditioned, absolutely not. So moving on to the girl that I think stole everybody's hearts and minds, and she stole the entire show, Alejandra La Fonseca. Alejandra, I coined her the Puerto Rican mini tank because, again, she's 4 foot nothing. But boy, oh boy, did she deliver. Crazy legs. If you see this girl in person, make sure you see her quads and her legs because she has some quads to die for. Her presentation, okay, I'm going to put it up on screen in a minute. Her presentation was so good that I got so many messages from people just asking me, where did she learn this? Alejandra used to be a dancer in Puerto Rico, a professional dancer, and she on stage, she transforms herself, and she just, it's amazing. The whole flow of the event, the look, the hair flip, the moving of the arms, everything is there for a reason, okay? She's not doing it just for doing it. Her hair flip, her side poses, look when she transitions, the flow of where she walks, 1, 2, 3, 4, she stops, moves the hair. All these details are amazing, and the judges look at all of that. It was very good to see her doing this on stage because it shows that you can have all the personality in the world. I've said this from day one that the wellness girls, we have in this class, we have more range to be more sensual, more sexy. And she totally delivered. I gave her the Poser Award without a doubt. Ripped abs, great stage presence. Her glutes were tight. She could have been a little bit more tighter, but She probably wanted to come in fuller because she knows that what she needs to work on is her glutes. Her quads are so dominant that her glutes look very small. But it's not true. It's not true. She does have glutes. It's just that's the way her body is, basically. Her upper glute needs to come up, and that's about it. If she had the roundest of any other girl, she will be killing. She will be making a killing. She does need to do more shows. I would like to see her doing much more shows. I'm going through the list, but I'm not gonna go with this one right now because she won the show. So I'm gonna go with Shayla Martin right now. Shayla came in. I really like the way Shayla came in. You know, with Shayla, she is always diced. She is always shredded. She is always in absolute crazy physique. What happened with Shayla here? She came a little bit softer, just like the judges told her. And I really have nothing bad to say about her. I gave her 4 stars because that's how good she looks. The judges told her to bring her level of conditioning down, and she did. Good tan. The posing was good. Posing was really good for her. Lines among lines. And, glutes are very round. And you see this glute ham teardrop right here. This is beyond crazy. She's one of those girls. She's one of those girls that keeps getting better and better every single time. So she should be right up there. Trust me. And she loves to compete. She loves to compete. So expect more from her in 2023. I don't think she's done absolutely yet. So with that in mind, we come to the girl that everybody and their mom wanted to see. A bunch of fans, not only in America, but worldwide and in Puerto Rico. She had a lot of fans over there. Julia Renee. Julia Renee came in here. She's so beautiful, gorgeous girl. When she steps on stage, your eyes totally go to her. Okay, this was her long-awaited pro debut, and she seemed a little bit nervous on stage. And it's her pro debut. We can knock that out. We can't. It's one of those things that she'll remember this forever. I gave her 3 stars, and this is why. She has the muscle to be up there. I critiqued her hard because she didn't have enough calves. Her calves have definitely come up, okay? Before the quads, hamstrings, glutes, she does have it all. The problem here, again, you know what I'm going to say, she wasn't conditioned. And I don't know why. Sometimes we see a video of her and she seems hard. She seems hard from the front, from the side. But when you see her, then it just kind of fades away. I knew she had a little bit of problems and issues with, coaching. And I think six weeks out, she had to change her coach. At the moment, I have no idea who's helping her. I have no idea. She didn't want to disclose that. And that's totally fine. But something did happen in this show that went terribly wrong, because this was not the Julia that we were expecting. We weren't expecting a crazy hard Julia or like Shayla. We weren't expecting a Shayla Martin look, but we most definitely were waiting much more lines from Julia. Whatever happened, I hope she can get it fixed, because boy, oh boy, does she have the following. Boy, oh boy, does she have people that really want her to do well. Many girls look up to her, and this is just the beginning. This is just her first show. And remember, people love this, like an underdog story. And I'm sure she's going to come back and she's going to look good. So be on the lookout for Julia Arnett. We don't know which show she's going to do next. I would like to see her in Tampa. Tampa Pro for her should be a good show. She has enough time to develop and get those crazy lines that we know she can get. Next up, we have Leslie Reyes. I was super impressed with Leslie Reyes. Very pretty, super impressed, great package. In a way, similar. In a way, the same thing happened with her, the same thing that happened with Julia. We were expecting her to be harder, and she wasn't. Her tan could have been a tad darker, just a little bit darker. But very pretty on stage, great freaking calves right here, holy moly. And from the side, she has that round glutes. Look at this, round glutes. Her upper body's great, Quads are great. Size is great. From the sides are great. Everything. She has everything to do battle. But she wasn't in condition, and that definitely hurts. Trust me. Next up, we have Selma. Aquí, well, Selma is from Puerto Rico, but it's labeled, she's in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, but she's another Puerto Rican. And I gave her 3 stars because I've seen the amount of muscle that this girl has in real life. And I've seen her develop, so I know where she's coming from. I really am not digging this bright red hair. I'm not digging it. It kind of resembles like the Ronald McDonald hair. I am not a fan. She used to be blondish. She used to be like, highlight blonde, and I think it suited her better. She has good conditioning from the back. She's always had very good conditioning, good calves, a teardrop right here from the glute and hamstring. Now her problem was that she had a very distended stomach, and it was very visible on stage, especially when she was posing. It's something that you have to control while you're breathing. So when you're breathing, you can't really let it out that much, and she was letting it out. So good showing for her, but unnecessarily the tension was way too much. Next up, we have her name is right here. Nerilde. So I'm going to say it in Spanish. Nerilde Garcia Stray. There you go, from Spain. Super pretty girl. It's one of those things that when you see her at first, striking. Great calves, great presentation, good round glutes. I could see her a little bit with more legs, hamstrings. Overall, she has. It's almost the other way around. You're used to seeing me here say, the legs need to match the glutes. So this on her, if you see right here, her glutes are great. These right here, amazing. Now, they overpower her legs. So her legs look small compared to her round glutes. So in that sense, she needs to work on legs. But very good looking. It's good to see people from Spain, because sometimes I see the shows in Europe, and some of them are not up to par to Latin America or the United States of America. Jasmine Payne, holy moly. Again, I can't stress out the genetic freak. Jasmine Payne has been getting better, week by week. And super dynamite on stage. She handles that stage, and when she steps on stage, your eyes also go to her because she's so striking. I like that hair on her. I like it a lot. Remember when she was just, doing the shows and I was critiquing her for her glutes? Ladies and gentlemen, don't expect this to happen with all the competitors, okay? Her glutes in less than a month have grown this roundness, this tie-ins right here, absolutely crazy. Her thing was when she turned to the side on this pose, you couldn't see that pop, and now you can see it. She is getting better day by day. The only thing I could say is she can still work a little bit more on that upper glute right here, but she's great. Her calves, of course, need to come up. But boy, oh boy, did she give a run for her money to Giselle Machado, which won the show, but it was close. A lot of people were talking about it. They were, you guys were sending me messages, how close it was. In my opinion, if I was judging this was one of the closest close calls that I've ever seen in America, well, Puerto Rico. But Giselle Machado comes into the Puerto Rico Pro exactly the way she should have looked at the Miami Muscle Beach Pro. This is the Giselle that I am used to seeing since her Brazil days. She had great presentation, solid look, one of the best glutes all around. Wherever she moves, side transition, back, back transition, all these glutes, they're always popping. They're always nice, full, round. And let me tell you one thing, these glutes are 100% real. Godfather of Wellness knows. And these are glutes that anybody in the world should strive to be. When she was walking on stage, you could see everything, her abs, delts, calves. Look at her calves. Look at her calves. Oh my God. Like, I can't explain. Great freaking calves. Like, and the thing is that she's not super tall, but with the heels, she looks very, very tall. Okay. Long torso, great abs. And she's very striking, very, very striking. So she told me that, and I told you guys that she wasn't overall 100% happy with the way she looked in Miami. She was holding water and she changed coaches and it was all like too fast for her. And she accepted that she didn't look her 100%. But now here she did looks 100%. We have the video here of the final call out between Jasmine Payne and Giselle Machado. Quarter turn to the right, you can see Jasmine still has that, doesn't have the size compared to Giselle, but her muscle is there. She's catching up. When they go to the back, Giselle has that glute ham tie-in and Jasmine has it as well. In any case, Giselle's beating her with the calves. Giselle's hard abs compared to Jasmine. She's a little bit harder on the abs, a little bit harder on the front leg here, at least in this pose. See what I'm saying? This is a really, really, really close call out. But the thing that sets Giselle apart, and you guys can see it, it's very hard. It's very hard for any competitor to achieve what she's achieved. What I mean by that is the amount of muscle fullness with the right lines. It's very hard, but once you have it down to a science, then you can really start winning some shows. And she's very pretty, she's very gorgeous, and she knows how to display and even hide her few weaknesses on stage. So I'm really happy for them both. Jasmine is knocking on the door of success. Jasmine is knocking on the door of the number one. I could say the same thing for Shayla Martin. And again, these are her freaks. Don't expect this to be a thing with every competitor. Okay, these girls are genetic freaks of the bodybuilding and fitness world. Congratulations to Giselle. She has won back-to-back shows. And that's going to do it for the Puerto Rico Pro Show. Great show, great event. Again, congratulations to Tim Gardner. He did the show in my home, La Isla del Encanto, Enchantment Island of Enchantment. And some people, were rooting for Jasmine. Some people were rooting for Giselle. Some people were rooting for Shayla. It was really cool. It was really cool to see and hear how people were, screaming for every girl on stage. As you see here, when they gave out the awards, Leslie made it up there, and Alejandra La Fonseca made it up there, and what I'm even Nerilde from Spain made it up there. What I'm trying to say is that at least for Leslie, that she was super impressive. And if Leslie was in condition, she would have been up there. Trust me, she looked really, really, really good. So that's going to do it for the Puerto Rico Pro Show. This has been Johnny Styles, the Godfather of Wellness. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe, click notifications, do the whole thing. Not only here on YouTube, but on Spotify, Instagram, and Apple iTunes. This has been Johnny Styles, the Godfather of Wellness, and I'll see you soon. Boom.